Good day, and welcome to Cujo Sound. Today at Game Audio Talk, we're going to be talking about and analyzing one of the best sounding games of 2016, Inside by Playdead, who are also the creator of Limbo, which, just like Inside, took practically every audio award worth mentioning with it the year it was released. The sound team at Playdead at the time of the creation of Inside was Martin Stig Andersen, whom you may have heard of, and if not, you should totally check him out. He's not only a great sound designer and composer, he's also a really cool and friendly guy to hang out with. Currently, he is scoring the next Remedy Entertainment game called Control, coming really soon, as of the creation date of this video. With him, he had Andreas Frostholm, who is now a senior sound designer at Rocksteady in London, the creators of what is probably the best Batman game around. And Søsken Varubia, who is one of the best audio artists I have ever met. She's really doing some good music, and you should really check it out. I'll put some links in the description. And last but not least, and funny, he was also last in my previous video, Jacobsen, the audio programmer. A good friend of mine who's been a great help for me when I was working on other games and needed coder help. And he's also a really brilliant programmer who does really good stuff. He also made the game 140, which he scored. And funny enough, I made a video about that game too just last time, which you can also check out in the link above or the link in the video description. Now, let's go. Inside is made in Unity, and it runs the audio engine Wise. Just like Limbo, its predecessor, which also ran Wise, but it had a different engine. Inside marks itself as being a relatively simple game, but having so much going on under the hood to create its unique experience. By simple, I mean that it's seemingly a simple side-scroller puzzle platformer, but don't let that fool you. This game both plays, sounds, and looks good. The game uses some relatively simple triggered animation events, which, as I have explained in several of my previous Unity videos and other Game Audio Talk videos, is a simple way of tracking when a character's feet hits the ground. Through this event, you can check if the character's actually hitting anything. What did he hit? How fast did he hit it? And so on. It's basically not triggering when the character's foot is down, it's triggering when a specific frame plays, and therefore it is frame specific. Underneath the hood, the game doesn't really care if this is a character that's actually running or walking, or if it's a single pixel that's animated in some other way. If you ever tried working with animation events, you will also know that just having an event on a frame isn't always enough. As animations blend, they also trigger on various occasions when you don't want to, and it's mainly on the asset side and on your mixing side that you need to solve the problem. The actual sound that plays, you will most likely need to add quite a lot of detail to it to make it sound any good. Else you will just have the same step playing over and over again regardless of the speed of the character, when you're changing speed, starting, stopping, sliding, turning, etc. So Inside runs this really awesome spreadsheet-like system under the hood, which tells the system which Wise event to trigger whenever you do certain things. And this allows for many different states to be set, which then not only checks the next state, but also what is the previous one. So if the player is idle and starts jogging, like in the example you see here, it will play a specific event. But that will be different if we are sneaking and start jogging. In this case of idle and jogging, it will play the event takeoff_MF. But if we are sneaking and start jogging, then it will play the ordinary walk sound for a given number of steps until the game decides that we are now in the jogging state, and therefore it will just play the jog event. This is a brilliant way of setting up a sound system to trigger on different states of movement, and it can really change the way sounds play when we are moving around, as tiny details, when changing speed and so on, really makes a movement come to life, thus adding life to the game overall. Your shoes can also get wet. This adds a wet sound on top of the ordinary footsteps. A wetness value is then maxed out, which then controls the volume of the wet sound that you heard added on top of the footstep. And this wetness value dries out over time. meaning that if you step on something wet and then on something dry, your steps will be slightly and less wet for a few steps. Another thing that's really important for when bringing a character to life like this is all the details added in the locomotion sounds. Not just the steps, but also cloth and other movement sounds. This may sound quite simple, but the whole point is that as a developer, you have no idea what your player is going to do. So therefore, setting up a system that just works generically and triggers the same sound over and over again will most likely give you a boring sound experience. Therefore, having a system that can be controlled in whatever way you want it to and behave whenever you're changing speed is really, really important. Inside runs a quite detailed cloth system, even if it's almost inaudible. It adds to the life of the whole scene, but you will have to listen quite closely to actually hear it. But I assure you, I'm sure that without this sound, the movement of this boy would not be as good an audible experience as it is with it. The key to this is not to have only animation events and or a system that tracks whenever the boy's arm passes his body. It's that we also already have a lot of parameters available from this footstep system mentioned before, which tracks the speed of the character, the type of movement, and so on, even the wetness value. And in Wwise, we can set up an extensive switch system, which then plays one of the many different variations of cloth sounds here, meaning that whatever you do as a player, the sound will always sound like they are one with the character, and you are never disconnected, and this brings the character even more to life. That's it for this brief locomotion video about sounds in Inside from Play Dead. I hope you enjoyed it. Please hit the like button if you did, and if this is your first time here, you might want to consider subscribing to the channel. You can also head over to patreon.com/Cujo Sound, where you for as little as $1 a month can help me sustain this channel and the time I take off creating all this material. I would really appreciate it. Next up is a video about how voice sequencing works in Inside. But if you want to know more about game audio production in general, why not check out one of the many other videos I have on this channel already. See you next time, and Cujo Sound signing out.